Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Darati Swaparantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapatakalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशतरिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरि बोल। No, what happened? Oh, no, it's back. Okay, we continue from here. What about galaxies? We have seen that the cosmologists attempt to comprehend the universe within the narrow bounds of their narrow materialistic conceptions has failed to explain its origins. Moreover, we have seen that their theories do not even account for what they say is present in the universe now. For instance, the Big Bang theory does not account for the existence of galaxies. Imagine a scientist of great genius who had knowledge of current cosmological theories but no knowledge of observational astronomy. Would he be able to predict that galaxies would form? The answer is no. A universe made up of a uniformly distributed cloud of gas is the only result consistent with the standard formulations of the theory. This cloud would have a density of perhaps one atom per several cubic feet, making it little better than a perfect vacuum. To get anything else requires special modifications of the initial conditions of the universe. The scientists find such modifications difficult to justify. Traditionally, a scientific theory is considered acceptable if starting from the no if if starting yeah it's there if starting from the initial framework you can straightforwardly predict things. A theory that has to be monkeyed around with to a considerable degree to obtain valid predictions is questionable value. As Steven Weinberg says, in the first 3 minutes, the theory of the formation of galaxies is one of the great outstanding problems in astrophysics, a problem that today seems far from solution. Then, without skipping a beat, he says, but that is another story. But no, wait a minute. That is exactly the story. If the Big Bang Theory can't explain the initial cause of the universe or major features of the universe, such as galaxies, then what does it explain? Not very much, it would seem. Missing mass. The Big Bang Theory is supposed to explain the universe, but a major problem is that many features of the universe are not understood clearly enough to be the subject of such explanation. One big mystery is the problem of missing mass. Physicist David Shrum of the University of Chicago explains. From all the light being emitted by the Milky Way, we can estimate that our galaxy contains the mass of about 100 billion suns. But once we take this same object, the Milky Way, and see how it interacts with another galaxy, such as our neighbor, Andromeda, we find that our galaxy is gravitating toward Andromeda, as though it had a mass almost 10 times as great. It thus appears that over 90% of the mass of the universe is missing. Ghostly, ghostly subatomic particles called neutrinos have been put forward as the solution. Originally, however, the invisible neutrino was assigned no mass by physicists, but now it has suddenly been assigned mass sufficient to account for the missing matter in the universe as a whole. How convenient. So even when we leave aside the question of primal origins and get down to the picture of the universe as it is today, there are still many unanswered questions. The scientists will assert to the public with an air of absolute conviction that they know the universe extends X millions of light years and that it has existed for a total of U billion years. They say that they have identified all the major bodies in the universe for what they are: distant stars, galaxies, nebulae, quasars, and so forth. Yet, even the local Milky Way galaxy is not clearly understood. So they don't understand the sea yet, but still they say that we know the distant stars, we know the galaxies, we know all these things that we see on the sky. They say they know these things.
Yes, Prabhu.
They don't know the sea yet, so how they know those things? Oh, Hare Krishna, Vivek Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
For example, in Scientific American, noted astronomer Bart J. Bok wrote, I remember the mid-1970s as a time when I met my fellow Milky Way watchers. When I and my fellow Milky Way watchers were notably self-assured, we did not suspect it would soon be necessary to revise the radius of the Milky Way upward by a factor of 3 or more and to increase its mass by as much as a factor of 10 to 23. If such basic measurements recently had to be drastically revised after so many decades of observation, then what might the future hold? Hare Krishna Prabhu, please join the reading session. Hari Bol. Even when we get down to our own solar system, we find there are fundamental problems. The traditional account for the origin of planets, that they have condensed from clouds of cosmic dust and gas, is on very shaky ground because the equations for the interactions of the gas clouds have never been satisfactorily solved. William McRae, professor of astronomy at England's Sussex University and past president of the Royal Astronomical Society, states, the problem of the origin of the solar system is perhaps the most notable of all unsolved problems in astronomy. It should be clear at this point to any impartial onlooker that the strategy of materialistic reduction followed by cosmologists has not allowed them to arrive at the firm conclusion about the origin and nature of the universe, despite their public posturing. There is certainly no compelling reason for anyone to insist that the ultimate answer to cosmological questions must be contained in simple mathematically expressed physical laws. Indeed, the quantitative method has proved inadequate for explaining many phenomena very close at hand. What to speak of where it is? What to speak of explaining the vast universe? Therefore, it is certainly too early to exclude alternative approaches that may involve non-physical explanations, explanations involving principles that go beyond the known laws of physics. Yes, since they don't have the full answer yet, so they cannot say that there cannot be some Lord Brahma creating, because they cannot tell us what the real answer is. A different picture of reality. Let's see how long this is. Okay, maybe we have now understood that this Big Bang is nonsense. We can move to the next topic.
Yes.
Yeah, here is really hard word actually. Prabhupada's Prabhupada's text is much more easily understandable. Here is many hard words. But the scientists need these hard words, I think, because they always talk weird words. So it's nice we have also something like this.
Yes, Prabhu.
They talk so many weird things. Here is some cosmic wormholes and what are these? What wormhole? They say there's some worms in the sky. White holes. Some theologians try to reconcile religion and science by saying that the universe obeys only the laws of physics and God is the guarantor of those laws. But this compromise makes religion meaningless by depriving God of his omnipotence and leaving him no active role in the lives of worshippers. Yeah, that's true. That's kind of Mayavadi thing. Modern physicists have postulated the existence of various dimensions or levels of reality. The Vedic literatures or ancient India also describe various dimensions or levels of reality, including higher material levels, and still higher levels best described as spiritual or transcendental. These correspond to different levels of conscious perception. Hmm. So here is like heavenly realm, and here's like material place. No, I mean earthly place, not material, because heaven is also material.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, what's the next topic? The mystery of consciousness. Yeah, this might be interesting. Does someone want to read? There's many
Can
hard.
I try?
Yes, no
Oh,
problem.
Prabhu. If hard word is too difficult for me, let's try. Okay.
You can try, Prabhu.
Really. Okay. It- okay. The mystery of consciousness. Modern science may delve into the regions of the brain, but can it explain the phenomena of consciousness? Scientific psychology has the well-known saving ghost having first lost its soul. Later, its consciousness seems finally to lose its mind altogether, wrote philosopher Herbert Fitzgerald, director of the Minnesota Center of Center for the Philosophy of Science. He thus summarizes one of the most fundamental trends in modern thoughts, the reduction of all spiritual and mental phenomena exclusively to biochemical brain functions. Some philosophers have enthusiastically assisted in this task. Gilbert Rayleigh, renowned professor of metaphysical philosophy at Oxford University, says about the idea that the mind is something non-physical. I shall speak of it with delib- de- de- deliberate obviousness has the dogma of the ghost in the machine. I hope to prove that it is entirely false and false not in detail but in principle. What is Prabhu? This is dogma of the ghost in the machine. I don't know.
Hmm. I think he's trying to, you know, says about the idea that the mind is something non-physical. Yeah, so he's trying to prove that the mind is not, he's trying to prove that the mind is physical, that the brain and the mind is the same thing, that there's no difference
Oh,
brain and mind.
okay, okay, okay.
And this, the dome of the ghost in the machine means that because we got kind of say that there is mind and there is soul that is working the machine, but he's trying to
Yes.
say that is like we are saying that there's some ghost in the body of, and he's working because he's trying to say that the body itself, the living entity, that there is no living entity inside the body that is the soul. That's he's trying to.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. One philosophical school, the eliminative materialistic, goes so far as to advocate completely dropping words such as consciousness, feeling, seeing, or pain from the vocabulary of scientific discussion. They claim that these words are purely subjective and those they have no real meaning, even though this is contradictory to all practical experience. Describing this approach, philosopher Richard Rotary, Rotary, Rotary of Princeton states that a representative of this view would say to someone, it would make life simpler for us.
So yes, Prabhu, these are persons who say that these consciousness and these things are just mathematics. They say that this
Oh,
is just different mathematical process of different chemicals acting and different mathematics, and it's nothing else. So here also, since the time of Descartes, science has tried to reduce reality to mathematical form, yet the consciousness
mhm.
experience of form, color, and emotion remains stubbornly in a category of its own. What is the picture? Hmm.
Yes, so
Okay, you can continue.
okay. If you would in the future say, uh, my C fibers are firing instead of saying I am in pain. The philosophers, however, are merely following the lead of modern science, which from its very beginnings has been uh, me- mechanistic mechanistic. In 1750, the French physician de la Merieux wrote, "Let us conclude bodily then that man is a machine and is more re- what is it more recent
Yes, bro.
this recent times we find Oxford zoologist Richard Dawkins proclaiming, "We are survival machines, robot vehicles blindly programmed to perceive the selfish molecules known as genes."
Yes, bro.
Scientists, I suppose they think like that. Okay. Scientist Herbert L. Melzer writes in the chemistry of human behavior, the full range of those emotional and intellectual capabilities which we regard as quickly organates in an incredibly complex overlay of neurochemical organization upon highly specialized physiological structures. We do not need to mean anything more by the term mind than the total organization of functions. memories, and capabilities that categorize any particular brain.
Hmm.
Many scientists are not troubled by the profoundly deep personalizing social and physiological psychological effects of this view. Professor John Taylor of King's College, London states the mind appears known to be a near powerless epiphenomena of epiphenomena of the physical brain. He adds that realization of this fact will cause a complete destruction of people's understanding of their place in the world, as well as undermining the traditional institutions of society. What solution does propose? He simply urges that we start to prepare people to live in the deterministic world. Major moments in modern psychology, psychology has also taken a strictly mechanist approach to mental phenomena. John B. Watson, a professor of uh, psychology at Johns Hopkins University, was the founder of the behaviorist school behavior behavioristic school. About consciousness, he wrote, "He has never been seen, touched, smelled, tasted, or moved. It is a plain has assumption, just as provable as the old old concept of the soul." Hmm. Carrying this future further, the most famous behavioral uh, psychologist B.F. Skinner once declared that he would uh, abolish what he calls the inner man, the man defined by the lectures of freedom and dignity. He further stated his obligation has been long overdue. He has been constructed from our ignorance, and as our understanding increases, the very stuff of which he is composed vanishes. Sigmund Friend, Freud's psychology was also based upon an essentially materialistic view of human nature. Early in his career, Friend, what is Friend? Friend. Then pneumones, sorry, new neuromonistic uh, embarked upon an ambitious project to r- demonstrate that mental phenomena were directly produced by an organic mechanism. Although he eventually gave up the attempt, he remained convinced about his hypothesis. "I have no desire at all," he wrote to a colleagues, "to leave the psychology hanging in the air with no organic basis, but be behind the feeling of conviction that there must be such a basis. I have nothing, neither the uh, ethical or therapeutic, sorry, therapeutic to work on, and so I must behave as if I were confronted by psychological factors only. I have no idea why I cannot yet fit it together." In recent times, some scientists have decided that if man is no more uh, than a sophistic, sophisticated thinking machine, he might be possible for them to build such machines themselves. A leader in computer research, Marvin Minsky of MIT, believes that a machine will soon be created with the general intelligence of an average human being. The machine will able to educate itself in a few months. It will be at a genuine level. Genuine level. A few months after that, its power will be incalculable, incalculable, calculable. Then Minsky adds, if we are lucky, they might decide to keep us as pets.
Yes.
Convinced that the new technology of artificial intelligence will enable man to replace almost everything. Professor Arthur Harkins, director of the Graduate for for Futures program at the University of Minnesota. Minnesota says that by the year 2000, people will be getting married to robots, and society will begin to ponder the definition of human. This vision of future order further future or, adorned with humanoid computers may appear intellecting to science fiction buffs, but how well does it tally with what it really means to
Hmm.
be a human?
Hey, Prabhu, this was done, this magazine in 1990, I think, or something, 1980. So they were saying that in year 2000, people will be getting married to robots and society will, yeah, they said robots will be everywhere and artificial intelligence will take, but this was 2000 year, but now it's 2024 until still there is no robot. So I don't know
Yes,
when,
true.
when will the robots come?
Okay. Our thoughts, feelings, and desires lie at the very heart of what we all call the human experience. In there has its dash to equate sophisticated machines with human beings. Many philosophers, psychologists, and scientists have tra- trans- trampled, trampled upon some fundamental distinctions between the two. The reason for their confuse can be traced to the basic strategy of the modern science, which holds that everything can be explained according to relatively simple physical laws. Armed with these mechanistic assumptions, scientists can embark upon a study of the brain with the reasonable hope of eventually being able to account for, control, and duplicate all of its functions, including what we call consciousness.
Hmm.
But what if a non-physical vital principle or force were involved? Then the investigative task becomes hopelessly complicated. So most scientists stick to the strategy of insisting that the brain can be explained by simple physical laws and proceed with their theories and experiments. As B.F. Skinner says in Behind Freedom and Dignity, only then can we turn from the inferred to the observed, from the miraculous to the natural, from the inaccessible to the uh, manipulable. There is, however, more to the human mind than information processing. It is consciousness itself that is the foundation of all experiences, but no one can describe it by numerical expressions. In the same way as chemical reactions, the force of gravity, and the other physical phenomena, yet just because it cannot be measured by quantity, quantitatively, means in no way then its existence. Consciousness can oh, consciousness can clearly be known by experience. This suggests a serious lamentation of the mechanistic approach, namely that it can only describe behavior connected with consciousness, but not consciousness itself. Faced with this difficulty, many scientists rather than admit that consciousness is behind physical description, choose to categorize it as nothing more than a complex pattern, uh, nothing more than a complex pattern of behavior. This misconception allows them to suppose that machines and computers of sufficient sophistication can become consciousness. But there are many clear and direct expression. What is it? Examples showing how consciousness awareness is entirely different from the physical behavior associated with it. For instance, what happens when a person accidentally pricks his uh, thumb with a ha- hammer? Certain characteristics pattern of behavior result. The person may shout, way his hand grin make, etc. Okay. An examination of the body's reaction will reveal chemical changes in the body, in the blood, patterns of electrochemical impulses in the brain, and so forth. Well, these measurable effects are part of the event. They are distinct from the experience of pain itself. Although everyone read, readily understands sorry although everyone readily understands the nen- sensation of pain because it is a common consciousness experience, it cannot be defined in physical terms. Therefore, science prefers to confine itself to what can be physically described, namely patterns of electrochemical impulses. But if the brain is no more than an information processing device for these impulses, then what makes it any different from the machine the scientists themselves use to record experimental data from the brain? The answer is clear. In describing the functioning of the machine, we have no.
Hmm. See, this is the machine. Like here it says a machine can easily be built that
That
responds to red light with the statement, I see red light, but does that experience of seeing red light accompany this mechanical response?
no,
So, yes, Prabhu. And also artificial intelligence can be made to seem like he's speaking, but does that mean that there is some person really speaking? The same example.
Yeah, means that is possible. Like they are doing the computation, but that is not consciousness, right? Consciousness is
Mm.
something.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Saurabh Prabhu, Dandas Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhu, you
Hare
sound
Krishna,
like you're
Saurabh
inside
Prabhu.
of a aquarium or something.
But
Yes, Prabhu, your microphone is not okay.
Can you hear me now?
Need to be in many concept of pain. That is, we have no need to suppose that the man machine feels pain. The same thing is true of a description of the brain. Yet we know from experience that a person feels pain. Therefore, the concept experience of pain is something independent and distinct from all our ideas and statements about the function. Can you scroll? Okay, so function. Uh, functioning of machines and brains. Okay, then let us imagine a second instance, a machine that when suppose exposed to a red light would say I see red light. Such a machine could be built by connecting a photo cell with a red filter to an amplifier. When triggered, the amplifier would turn on a tap recorder that plays back the message I see a red light. Oh, like this, okay. Although the machine declares that it sees a red light, no one in his right mind would imagine that it is actually seeing anything. Any similarly, a tab. Okay. Machines perform certain activities that could where similarly a tape record to receives sound impulses but does not hear an automobile moves but does not itself experience motion. Well, machines perform certain activities that would duplicate those of a human being. All the actions of the machine are reducible to a mechanistic explanation, but in the case of human being endowed with consciousness awareness, physical description is in, in, inadequate, inadequate to describe his personal experience. The human body behaves somewhat like a complex machine, and its action can be described in physical, measurable terms to some extent, but behind these physically quantitable descriptions, which deal exclusively with the mechanistic of behavior and prescription, is the non-quantifiable uh, realm of consciousness. Admitted, admit, admittedly, science has succeeded in accounting for certain observable phenomena in strictly physical terms, but we should not extrapolate and conclude that everything includes consciousness can be explained mechanistically. Other possibilities not only exist but are frequently more reasonable and comprehensive, and we should remain open to consider them. E- Even Thomas X. Hook, sorry, Huxley pointed out the irreducible nature of consciousness. He stated, I understand the main tenet of materialism to be that is nothing in the universe but matter and force, and that all the phenomena of nature are ex- explicable by deduction from the properties assignable to these two primitive factors. It seems to me pretty plain that there is a third thing in the universe to wet consciousness, which I cannot see to be matter or force. or many conceivable modification of neither. Nevertheless, many scientists reject the idea that consciousness has any reality and remain determined to account for it in mechanistic terms. A popular current theory known as functionalism, which provides a framework for research in artificial intelligence, relegates.
Yeah, this is Pranjal Prabhu's mastering. He has mastered this artificial intelligence.
Okay, the activities of mind to computer like response to external stimuli. The concept of consciousness is dismissed, and all man feelings and sensation are reduced to mathematical constructs. For example, in the case of a headache, the experience of pain, which will naturally considered to be an headache, is not referred to at all. What then is a headache? Hard as this may be to believe, MIT artificial intelligence researcher Jerry A. Fodor, one of functionalism's main proponents, states to have a headache is to dispose it to exhibit a certain pattern of re- rela- sorry, relations between the stimuli one encounters and the responses one exhibits. In other words, what he calls a headache is mm, defined to be some brain software that makes us behave as if we have a headache, but pain itself is left out of the picture because pain cannot.
Because pain cannot read this. Oh, here it is. I was lost.
Yeah. Pain cannot be written into a computer program. Due to this obvious failure to explain personal experience, even Fodor, who is fully committed to a physical explanation of consciousness, admits that mechanistic
Haribol, Haribol.
sorry, Prabhu. What happened? Okay.
Where are we?
Due to this abuse, failure to explain is all over. Uh, for who is fully committed to a physical explanation of consciousness admits that the mechanistic theories such as functionalism are incomplete. He states many psychologists who are inclined to accept the functionalistic framework are nonetheless worried about the failure of functionalism to reveal much about the nature of consciousness. Functionalists have made a few ingenious attempts to talk themselves and their colleagues out of this worry, but they have not, in my view, done so with much success. As matters stand, the problem of qualitative content of consciousness poses a serious threat to the array aspiration. As a aeration. What Prabhu, that is aeration? Aspiration. What is the
It's
aeration?
What is
It
the
is
word?
identity.
It means. What is this? It's like argument. Yeah.
Okay. Assertion that functionalism can provide a general theory of the mental, because the issue of consciousness has raised a fundamental impulse in all mechanistic attempts to explain her human existence. Some scientists have rejected the widely accepted mechanistic viewpoint. Among the dissenters is renowned Nobel Nobel literate physicist genuine Wigner. There are two kinds of reality or existence: the existence of my consciousness and the reality or existence of everything else. Says Wigner, later reality is not absolute, but only relative. Wigner observed that external measurable phenomena are known to him only by virtue of his consciousness, and those consciousness is, if anything, more real than these phenomena. Mm, this phenomena, after extensive research in this area, Alan Jevons of EEG systems laboratory in San Francisco concluded that the mind may have transcendent qualities. Jevons says, when it comes to creativity, inspiration, the more eternal, sorry, eternal aspect of the mind will they might ultimately be mysterious. I am not as firm as some of my colleagues in the belief that the mind can be reduced to a flow of electrons. There is a thread thing in the universe to wet consciousness which I cannot to see to be matter or force.
So this man said there's consciousness that is not matter or force. This
Hmm.
he was some Gyani, I think. Okay, so let's stop here because it's
Okay, tomorrow onwards, yeah, from here.
Hmm.
Mm,
Hi, Prabhu. What is my speaker now? Something.
But Prabhu,
How can be able to see?
that sounds so funny actually. No, Prabhu. You sound like you're on a ship like this underwater.
Yeah,
what happened, bro, actually?
Prabhu is traveling in a submarine.
Oh.
Prabhu, where are you going?
I am now. Just like any.
Yes, Prabhu, it's too hard to understand.
Yeah, it's actually noise. Very much noise.
Here, creative personalities such as Mozart often depend on the phenomena of inspiration, in which ideas inaccessible by conscious effort spring unbidden into the mind as true from a higher source. Yeah, and they cannot explain why by some chemical reaction in his brain he's getting the perfect musical instrumental arrangement in his so he can compose the perfect melody. Where is he getting that melody to his brain? He says it is just coming from somewhere, But the scientist fellows say that no certain process of electromagnetic impulses is going on in his brain in certain way, so that's why he's getting that. But
Nonsense,
why
Prabhu.
he's getting it then?
So basically, the persons are saying all is mathematical, right? Now computation is,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yes, probably. Oh, see, these accounts of memories of past lives have been frequently plagued with inaccuracies and fraud, but at the same time, rigorous, unbiased studies have been carried out by serious researchers, such as yeah, because there is many children who are born and they remember who they were in the past life.
Yes, Prabhu. That also is there in in India.
Yes, Prabhu.
Like the teacher also told like in classes,
Yeah,
lectures.
yeah, that's true.
You know
Hmm.
what? These people, they don't accept.
Yes, Prabhu.
General scientists, general
So
science people,
from
they think they're confident, right? Past life.
yes, Prabhu. So from this part, they will start to explain about the what the soul is and super soul.
Hmm.
As shown in this symbolic illustration, the super soul provides the link between the conscious self and the subtle and gross material bodies. Here is the soul, and the super soul provides the link with the subtle body and the gross body. If there was no super soul in the body, we couldn't be in the body either. When the super soul leaves, we have to leave also.
Hmm.
Yeah, super soul is like a teacher, right? Right.
Yes, Prabhu. Is the link between matter and spirit.
Yes, Prabhu. What we call for that? Paramatma.
Yes,
Paramatma, no? Paramatma. Bhagavan. First one, which one, Prabhu? First one?
which one?
I think Bhagavan, Brahman, and
Hare, Brahman, Brahman, and
yeah,
no,
Brahman is
first,
impersonal.
yes, bro. First is
Meti
we think that
Paramatma Meti.
we are not we are not body, we are soul. Second thing,
Yeah,
we think we are all we see in all heart in Krishna. Okay.
yeah,
Second and last thing was Bhagavan, the original form of
original,
Krishna.
original.
Three things. The middle Paramatma uh, is it is middle for two both also Bhagavan and
Yes, Prabhu.
another one first one soul.
Yeah, I actually had a think that when a jiva, when a jiva gets liberation, this this Paramatma actually marks to Hironoksaya Sagar. Because
Yes, bro.
jiva will not go Paramatma teacher in because there is this right will talk with Krishna.
Like Prabhupada gives the example like by taking sunrise and what is something is this? I have read that.
God,
Sun,
sun, planet, and sun rays.
sun ray,
Ah,
sun shine, sun.
yes, bro, that one.
Yeah, this next here is the DNA explained, but
Oh,
this was really confusing chapter. Actually, I remember reading this. It was hard to understand. There is
okay.
a machine like this.
Prabhu, you have learned, you have read first once.
Yes,
You
from
have. Okay, this is second time, sir.
yeah,
Which time?
this
Second
second.
time, huh? Oh, okay.
So, Swami Prabhu, what you wrote that these people are saying that inside computation, the consciousness can be generated, right?
Yes,
This
Prabhu. Yeah, now they
big
were.
brain laser, yeah. So this is a big claim, right? They are making.
Yes, Prabhu. See, here is a picture of a living cell.
And
See
there is
how
mitochondria.
see how complex machine it is. It's like a city. It's like fully
Yes,
functioning city.
yes, Prabhu.
So how
Yeah,
can this be without
Pranjal,
any? How can there be function going on without anyone designing this little?
Yes,
yeah,
Prabhu. Exactly.
I think it is the most holistic thing that is complex.
True. Like if we think these are all things, how Krishna planned, how it will so nice,
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah,
unbelievable,
we can't think
superly manifested.
This was nice part. This a new look at evolution.
Like totally what it is magazine, what it will tell, what are all things it will tell.
It will tell how the evolution, how it's not possible for a certain species to change more than certain amounts. It's not possible to change so much for one species. It explains nicely, but I'm not sure if we're gonna read all this because it's really complex, and I want to read Prabhupada book already.
Hmm. Mhm.
Mm,
Okay,
what is this? Who's this?
here.
this
Hey,
was, I think.
some scientists predict that if dinosaurs hadn't become extinct, some might have evolved into a humanoid like this one.
There is that these scientists now saying that really think is real, right? And so they are basically evolved from dinosaurs.
Yes, Prabhu. In this, actually, it's explained how it's impossible for like how long process it will be from one single cell to evolution to human being. Like it's impossible. Here it's explained really nicely.
Hmm.
They make the calculations and they see according to modern science, and they point out that this is not accurate.
Uh,
Yes, Prabhu. But these are kind of,
True.
because we know all of these things, and these are not, I wouldn't, if preaching to someone, I wouldn't use this much. Even if I
Okay.
preach to scientists, so it's not so useful to read, I think. This would
Okay.
be just for someone to convince them that,
Okay. For like full in what we say in like professors
yes, Prabhu.
for
Yeah,
they are so.
those who
Yes,
don't
Prabhu.
accept Shastra at all, this would
Yes,
work for
Prabhu.
them, and who have almost no faith that we have a scientific process, this would work for them.
Yeah,
But for us who are
yes,
all devotees, this is because we all already know all these things, that
Yes,
Krishna is
Prabhu.
behind all of things. We don't need much more
Yes, Prabhu. That's
convincing of this.
also right. Yes, Prabhu.
yeah.
But is there any solutions in like in this, Prabhu?
What, Prabhu? I didn't hear that
Yeah,
word.
like if we take one topic, it gives solution also to favorable for spiritual.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, usually at the end they give some conclusion how the spiritual process is the right, and yeah.
Okay, then it is very good for them. Them.
I want to start this book. I want to more read this because long time I wanted to start this in the reading sessions. So I want that we read this book soon. Because here is Prabhupada Conversations, and this was really He said everything. It was funny and it was everything. It has a lot of
Which
knowledge.
one? Which one? This one? Which one? This is book. Sorry,
This is
the Greek.
the dialectic spiritualism, a
Meaning,
unique view of
Prabhu?
Western philosophy. Yeah, here is all these
Oh,
Western persons, Prabhupada. It's conversations.
okay, okay, okay.
It's conversations with Swarup
Ah,
Damodar and
okay. It was very nice actually.
yes,
Very.
Prabhu.
Yeah, it will be a very nice.
Yeah, I've read this once, this book, but I wanted to read it in reading session also.
Hmm. Yes, Prabhu. Next we can read
Yes, Prabhu.
after we have read the book. We can start this.
Yeah, this and I've heard these tapes also because they recorded this with that Shyama Sundar Prabhu and they record and Hayagriva does. They
Hmm.
recorded this all into like one. All these have recordings, so I've listened to those also. It's really nice.
Oh,
It was made this
okay.
book for to to have Prabhupada's answer to all the Western philosophies. So he debunked all their
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Sami Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Krishna, Varun Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Sami Prabhu, what is happening in Telegram group, please.
oh, what happened? Who's
Hare Krishna. One guy is
what happened? Yeah, we'll see it soon. I think someone already kicked. So who's this Subham? What is he saying? Hare Krishna, Dat Prabhu, Nandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Who is Dat Prabhu? Yes, Chiadi Prabhu is that. Chiadi Prabhu is not abused. He doesn't like this.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Dr. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Chiadi Prabhu is like the guard of the group.
Yeah, yeah.
We do random people keep manifesting in this group. Yes, Prabhu, I have to leave now.
Tribal, yes, Prabhu. Okay, well, let's read six has to
Yeah,
come.
thank you for your kindness.
Thank you so
Nice
much.
to
Okay, so I can be in reading this.
Yes, Prabhu. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagnirvapanam shreyah kaira
Ah,
vitaranam
Kerala,
yamadum
Kerala.
vipartanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Namna Makari. Sorry. Continue, Prabhu. Continue.
Yeah, Prabhu, you can read.
No, Prabhu, you can read. I have.
Okay, bro. Hare Ramanam Pakari Bahuda Nijam Sarvasati Sattar Pitana Lukta Sarvena Para Ekadrisi Tavatipa Papi Hridaivam Nidri Chamyajani Dhanura Para
ಋಣಾದಪಿ ಸುನಿಕೇನ ತರೋರಪಿ ಸಹಿಷ್ಣುನ ಅಮಾನಿನ ಮನದಿನ ಕೀರ್ತನೆಯ ಸದಾ ಹರಿ.
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवत्वद्भक्तिरहैतु की त्वयि
Ainam Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Same Avam Tam Paliko Stika Sancha Pichidaya
ನಯನಂ ಗದಲಂ ಅಸೂರ ಧರಾಯ ವದನಂ ಗದ್ಗದ ಹೃದಯ ಗಿರ ಪುಲಕೈರ್ನಿಚಿಂತಂ ವಪು ಕದಾ ತವ ನಾಮ ಗ್ರಹಣೆ ಭವಿಷ್ಯತಿ.
Yugaitam Nipena. Yes, bro.
You can continue.
Okay. Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshushatusaitam Sunyaitam Jagasarvam Govinda Virehe Name.
अश्लिष्य वा पादरतं पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातु लम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names, O my Lord. Out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name, the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw. In the street, one should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all state, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name instantly.
Is it 4?
Yes, Prabhu. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want causeless devotion, service, work
Hey,
of
Prabhu, he is coming again. Saurabh Kumar.
What, Prabhu?
He is coming again. Saurabh Kumar.
I think something happening in the possible time. That's it.
Yes, Prabhu. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing fountainly? When I chant your holy name, when will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, you are feeling your supplication. Sorry. O Govinda, feeling your supplications, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like tolerance of rain, and I am feeling like all vacant in world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. He shall remain so when he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord on conditional. Sri Siksastakam ki jai.
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 He did 10 offenses to the holy name. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who had dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
Third offense, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in the perseverance to the Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an honor in itself.
Sixth offense, to give some interpretations of the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense, to commit the sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as creative activities. Karma Karta. Ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the
10th offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success Krishna Prema.
Hari Bol, Hari Hari.
Panchakल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Jai Bol, Premanand Hari.
बोल
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
प्रभु
Thank
की
you. Thank you,
Jai.
Sai Babu.
महाप्रभु की जय
Jai.
पद की जय निताय गौर
Jai.
हरि
Hari
हरि
Hari Bol.
Hari Hari.